Hello, welcome to Lissagene's Reviews, and welcome to my review for Star Wars Ahsoka Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2. I believe they were called Master and Apprentice and Toils and Trouble, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know, it was so long ago when those episodes aired. I am sorry that I'm a little late on my review. It's been a really busy week and I just did not have any time, which is fine because my Star Wars reviews tend to get like 10 views. So for the 10 of you who are actually watching this, apologies that it was a little late, and really these are just for my own entertainment anyways. I just really want to get my thoughts out there, and I wanted to add my voice into the pool of many voices who have weighed in on the first two episodes of a Star Wars Ahsoka. So of course this review will be full of spoilers, so you will have been expected to see the episodes, but again, those were a few days ago. And now at this point I think we're closer to the airings of the next episode than the previous two. Anyways, so let me go ahead and I'll start excuse me, with my overall thoughts. And I really enjoyed these episodes. It was definitely the show that I was most looking forward to out of all the Star Wars shows, but out of any show that I knew was coming in 2023. And that is because I knew it was kind of a spiritual sequel to Rebels, and Rebels is absolutely my favorite Star Wars show. And in fact, I would say that it is my favorite Star Wars project of any kind since the original trilogy. So to have a live action kind of sequel to it, I of course was very excited about that. And for the most part, it did not disappoint. The two episodes obviously were just set up. We've got 6 more to go, and these two were really setting the stage, but I thought they were very effective at that, getting us back into the world, bringing back the characters, kind of catching us up where the characters are now in their lives and in their relationships and those sorts of things, and kind of getting us primed for the crux of the story that will be coming later. So I thought they were very well done. I thought it was a really good balance of sitting in character moments, having characters talk and connect and have conflict, like just sitting with the characters, and great action sequences. I think of my good friend Darren on D's Reviews, who a while back when Andor was airing. Andor is overrated, by the way, in case you didn't know that I thought that of Andor. My brother also thinks that. Andor, highly overrated. Not a bad show, but is it like the greatest Star Wars show I've ever seen? All Star Wars must live up to Andor. It's the great... No, not even. I put The Mandalorian above Andor. Andor is... It's fine. It should have been 6 episodes instead of 12. Way too many characters, way too much story, way too slow. Anyways, getting off on a tangent. I remember Darren, when Andor was out, I can't remember if we said it on one of our live streams or if he said it off the air to my brother and I. He's like, it's refreshing to have a show with no lightsabers, like a Star Wars show with no lightsabers. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then I saw Tales of the Jedi, the series of animated shorts that also heavily featured Ahsoka, that came out last year. And I loved it. And when I saw that, I realized, no, I need me some fucking lightsabers. Give me some lightsabers. That's probably one of the many reasons why I don't like Andor as much as others do. No lightsabers. Give me lightsabers. So seeing this with the cool lightsaber battles, I thought they were very well choreographed, very well done. I fucking love it. This is what Star Wars is to me. All due respect to Darren and others who want to see some Star Wars without lightsabers, that is not what Star Wars is about to me. Star Wars is about the lightsabers. So, among other things, not just about the lightsabers, but it's a big part of it. So, gimme, gimme, gimme. So, I freaking loved it. Now, there is one, I guess, storytelling choice that they made that I wasn't a huge fan of. I mean, I'm like, whatever, I've accepted it and it's fine and we're moving on. But wasn't my favorite choice that they made. And I'll talk about that in more detail as I get into it. So let's go ahead and get into some of the details. Since I'm so late, I don't want to go like frame by frame and go through every, that would just take forever. But I just want to kind of cover some of the highlights, some of the things that stood out to me in a little more detail through the first 2 episodes. Okay, so let's start from the beginning with the text scroll. I was very happy to see the text scroll brought back, but also that it's not the same exact text scroll from the movies. I think that if they did that, it would be like, come on, what are you trying to do here? But since they did their own style of text scroll, then I love it. I think it was really helpful. I think it's probably helpful to people who haven't seen Rebels. And it really helps set the stage. So I'm really glad that they did it. And then I felt like I was just hooked and drawn right in immediately. And the beginning of it really felt like Star Wars. Like, I hate to use that. I know people always say, this felt like Star Trek and this felt like Star Wars. And it did feel like Star Wars. It really had the aesthetics of the 70s and 80s movies. Had those dudes with those weird, funny-looking motorcycle helmets running around, like at the beginning of New Hope. And that's what this really reminded me of. For me personally, it was very New Hope-ish, the beginning of New Hope. And I've heard other people compare it to like the beginning of Phantom Menace with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon coming in. And yeah, I can see that. But for me, like, it was very, very New Hope-y because you have sort of your Rebel ship, or in this case, New Republic ship, and then the bad guys coming on, and I don't know, just the way that the opening shot was the Rebel ship, or I guess New Republic ship, just reminded me of the opening shot of New Hope, and yeah, and again, the dudes with the funny helmets running around was very New Hope. So to me, it felt very, very much like the beginning of New Hope, but also was not just an exact replica of the beginning of New Hope. Replicas. It was its own thing. And I can see now that people brought it up, I could see the Phantom Menace parallels too, but I didn't think of that at all. I was thinking very, very New Hope-y, but in the best of ways. It wasn't like how The Force Awakens kind of ripped off the plot of New Hope. It wasn't doing that. It was evoking those feelings in the best way possible. And what a great introduction to our villains. And it's such a shame Ray Stevenson has passed away, especially since I don't really know him. This is actually the first thing I've seen in him. I heard he was in a show called Rome I had never heard of. And I know he was in Black Sails. I never watched Black Sails. So I actually don't know this actor very well at all. I don't think I've seen him in anything before that I can recall, but he was excellent. So it is very sad that he is no longer with us, because he was one of the things that really helped to draw me in to the show. I'm really intrigued by this character. I really want to know more about him, and that really speaks to the acting that Ray Stevenson did. And I love the line, even though it was in the trailer and I already saw it. I just loved how it was placed and how it fit in, where the idiot New Republic captain dude was like, he said something about them being Jedi, and he's like, we are no Jedi. or I think he said something like, you were right about one thing, we are no Jedi. That's something like that. And I love how that line was delivered. I can see why they put it in the trailer. It was a great line. So right away I'm hooked in. Then we go to Ahsoka, Jones, and the Temple of Doom. Actually, the Raiders of the Lost Ark. What it really reminded me was the Raiders of the Lost Ark, like how you fit things in certain ways and things move and like, very Raiders of the Lost Arky. I guess Tomb Raidery too. Apparently, I never saw that, so I don't know. But again, helped to draw me in. I wanted to know what was happening, what was going on here. And yes, we have a MacGuffin, but I think the MacGuffin is just for the first couple episodes. I think we're now going to move in to the crux of the story and get beyond that. So right away, I was drawn in, and I love Ahsoka battling those robots, those droids. Right away, it just again good balance of excitement, action, and then the character stuff. Now, with the character stuff, first of all, Hera Syndulla and Sabine Wren are both fantastic. I love how they translated to live action. Both of these actors have different sounding voices than the actors who voiced them for the animated show, and yet I totally buy that these are the same characters. Like, it doesn't even skip a beat, especially with Hera Syndulla. Like, doesn't skip a beat to me as absolutely the same character. When she's talking to Chopper, same character that's talking to Chopper in the animated show, as far as I'm concerned, even if her voice is different and her look is a little different. Absolutely buy it's the same character. And same with Sabine. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see these characters, and we get a little glimpse of Ezra, like in the little hologram thing. Like, I hope we actually get to see Ezra, the real Ezra, not just a hologram. That's what I mean by that. And by the way, jumping around a little bit here, but I think the theory that that mysterious Jedi at the end is Ezra is stupid. I don't think there's any chance that's true. I think they made it very clear that Ezra is far off in this other galaxy with Thrawn. How would he get back and then turn evil? That makes zero sense. I don't think that theory is even a little bit plausible. I'm sorry. I don't think it's plausible at all. He's in another galaxy that's been established. He's way far away. He wouldn't make his way back and turn evil. No, that's not what happened. But anyways... and if it does happen, I'm going to say that's really dumb and I'm going to hate it. But anyways, I do like the characters that they've transferred into live action. And we have Clancy Brown playing the same character he voiced in Rebels, which I love. I love it. He fits it so well. I really loved all of that. I guess I'll get into my one thing that I didn't love, the storytelling choice that they made. I don't like that there was all this character development and conflict and relationship development off screen that we don't see. So Ahsoka and Sabine barely talk to each other as far as we've ever seen, and they barely had any interactions with each other. But now they have this, this conflict and this strong relationship that they had that was completely off screen, and I didn't love that. I don't like it when important things happen off screen. It is one thing if these are brand new characters and they're trying to set up, the background. And many films and shows have done that before. But since we have seen these characters before and they didn't have any kind of relationship before, and now all of a sudden they have a history, that's jarring to me. I wish they didn't do that. I would much rather that they just introduce the whole Jedi and Padawan thing here for the first time. And when I heard there were going to be a Jedi and Padawan kind of dynamic, that's what I assumed they were doing, that it would be first introduced right here, not that it happened off screen. Now, I understand there's several years in between when we last saw them and when we're seeing them now. So, of course, there was time for all of this to happen. So it's not implausible that a bunch of stuff would happen in the intervening years. but I don't like it. It's too important. There's too much character development, too much relationship development that we get told and not shown, and that bugged me. It was I found it very jarring. But as I said in the intro, I'm moving on. Like it's not gonna hold me back. It doesn't hamper my enjoyment of the show. Um, I'm over it. Let's move on, move forward. Interested in seeing how the relationship develops further on screen now that we can see them. But I did not love that choice of having all that important stuff off screen. And that's really my biggest complaint. Of the show in the first two episodes. Otherwise, like I thought it was pretty near perfect. Like I thought it was pretty fantastic. Um, so let's see. We move into the second episode. As I told you, I'm just gonna go through some of the highlights. I'm not gonna go through every fucking scene. So we get into the second episode, and what's her? I want to call her Morgan Le Fay, but that's not her name. It's a very similar character. She's a witch. The character from The Mandalorian season 2. I find this to be a very interesting character too. So she shows them the map, and to be clear, she shows the Jedi or whoever they are, Ray Stevenson and Balon and his apprentice, and I forget her name. She shows them the map that they have gotten because Sabine was an idiot, but they got this map, and so she's showing them this map. And first of all, I've heard the question: how does this ancient map show them where our current day characters are? I believe that is a map, if I'm understanding correctly, of the of the migration patterns of the space whales, as I'll call them. So that there's always a chance that Thrawn and Ezra wouldn't be there, but where the space whales go, since they were with the space whales, almost certainly is where they are. So that's where they migrate to, is this other galaxy. And that's what the map was, this ancient map. There's not an ancient map, so there was not ancient people going, this is where Ezra and Thrawn are going to go thousands of years from now. I think it's a map of the migration patterns of the space whales. And you can reasonably assume, and everybody is assuming, that that's where Ezra and Thrawn ended up. And somehow it seems like this character, what's her name, Morgan, has been. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible reviewer. Then I went only at 10 reviews because I don't look up the names of these people before I start reviewing. Yeah, she mentions that like Thrawn is communicating with her in some way over time and space. A lot of people making a big deal about how she said the word time first. Where what does the time have to do with anything? If you're thinking about time travel or alternate timelines or anything like that, I really do not feel like that's the direction they're going in. So I wouldn't I wouldn't read too much into that line. Although I do find it interesting, I do want to know where they're going with that. But this is the first time in Star Wars where another galaxy has been mentioned, where we're exploring another galaxy. So I find that to be extraordinarily fascinating. And we know from the trailer that we will see Thrawn at some point in time. So we may go to that other galaxy. So I find that all very, very interesting. So also in this second episode, we get a lot of focus on Hera as she goes with Ahsoka to that kind of junkyard planet where these sketchy businessmen are actually in cahoots with the Empire. And I find that kind of stuff interesting. I didn't totally hate it when Andor got into the weeds of those little minutia of things. I just think they dragged them out a little too long. I think this kind of thing was a little more interesting to me, which led to some action. Again, good balance. And I loved seeing Hera and Chopper. Chopper is pretty much exactly the same as he is in animation form. I love it. I don't know why people don't. There's some people who don't like Chopper for some reason. I love Chopper. There is a YouTuber, can't remember which one it is. Somebody, I think it might be Eric Voss from New Rockstars, who will casually refer to Chopper as a war criminal. And I'm like, I want to know his logic for that because I don't know what you're talking about. I love Chopper because he always has this attitude, and he liked to play practical jokes. He was a little bit, a little rough around the edges, not always the best guy, but when it came down to it, he was loyal, he was a friend, he was a good, I don't want to say person, I guess, good droid. I don't know. But he had a good heart when it came down to it. And so it's kind of a complex character, and this is all through him going, and his sounds that he makes, I think, have always sounded like words from time to time. Like you can kind of tell from his inflection what he's saying, but I think even more so in this show than in the animated show. But that was true there too, but I feel like it's even more so here. Anyway, love the scene with Hera and Chopper. They get the tracking device on that ship. Now Sabine is coming back into the fold, and now we get to move forward. Now, I'm curious about this scene at the end because I think it's not clear to me whether this is meant to be the same scene at the end of Rebels. I think some people are taking it that way. If so, then I guess they're retconning Ahsoka's outfit because she was wearing all white in the animation. I took it more as this is a different scene, a different time, but it was a very similar type of scene because I think the one from before is when they went off and Sabine became her apprentice for a little while. That's when they first got together. That's how I'm reading it because it looks different. Ahsoka's wearing a completely different outfit. But maybe it is meant to be the same scene and then we just have to pretend she was wearing the same outfit. I don't know. I took it as two similar but different scenes. And the first one was the one where they first go off together and become Jedi and Padawan. Also, I forgot to mention, I believe his name was Huyang, something the ancient Jedi droid there, voiced by David Tennant. I really liked this character. I really liked his kind of telling Sabine, like, yeah, you really suck as a Jedi. So they're really setting Sabine up for someone who is not really Force sensitive, but was learning anyways. And we got a little bit of that. There was one of my favorite Sabine episodes was when she was training with Kanan Jarrus with the Darksaber. So it gets shades of that recurring with the time with Ahsoka. Again, don't love that a lot of that happened off screen, but because I wanted to see it. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that. We'll see that develop as the season goes on. So I have my eyes on that storyline. So yeah, now I'm really just looking forward to where we're going here. I'm very excited about where we're going. As I said, the first two episodes were really effective setup. So I can't wait. So let me go ahead and wrap this up with my rating out of 10. I will give each of them the same rating, so I can just say one number and say this is my rating for each of episodes 1 and 2. So my rating for the first two episodes of Star Wars Ahsoka is a 9. Great start. Fantastic characters, good balance of action and sitting with the characters. I'm not going to specifically detract all of the complaints that I've heard, but I'm just going to say I disagree with most of the complaints that I've heard about the show so far. But everyone has their opinion. I think people are going to really look at Star Wars these days with a critical eye. So people are going to find things that they don't like. But for me, other than that one thing that I mentioned, which is not that big of a deal, I loved the first two episodes. Looking forward to more. Okay, so that does it for my coverage of episodes 1 and 2. Um, I don't know what my Ahsoka coverage is going to look like. I plan to cover all 8 episodes in one way or another, but I don't know if that means I'll be doing it weekly or if I'll be doing it every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. But I would like to talk about every episode of Ahsoka for the 10 of you who are watching this. And I will also be joining Darren on D's Reviews for one of his discussions. Tentatively, let's say September 7th. I think it's pretty pretty much gonna happen. But so I'll be doing that as well. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you real soon. Please subscribe if you have not already. Goodbye.